文缠的是你的命运。I speak your tongue now, so there is no mistaking my words. There is conflict within you.
Conflict.
Man cannot be both savior and oppressor, light and shadow. One has to be sacrificed for the other. Choose, and choose wisely.
Hello and welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and Reese's pieces in between. Back at another week, and this is your dude, SoulPapo. And I want to say, like I thought well, you should never lose track of where you came from. A lot of times when you're kind of stuck in where you're, focusing on where you're currently at, and obviously you want to be able to make a plan to move forward, but you can't forget that you're supposed to move forward, and you can't just sit. I mean, we are blessed and definitely evolved, fortunate sort of being that lives in this world. Animals, they live to eat and to fuck, and, then they're dead. Plants, in the same respect, well, that's a disrespect to label them fucking, but, a plant, it pollinates, it grows, it spreads its seed, and no deepest way that I can express, makes it stance, it develops roots. And those roots, hopefully all the strong, is what builds it and what makes it big and prosperous, but is what also extends branch and provides shelter, provides a resource that pretty much keeps on giving. And whether we're using it to build our homes or to roll in and smoke the hell out of, or whatever which way that you can consume something. That's, I think, the deepest part of a tree, and like I said, the life that it gives. And we can't, like I said, lose sight. And I know I did, of where the root was. You could see the root. It's at your feet. You could trip on it. You could just stand still, or you could use it to move. And movement is really what produces life. That's what actually gives momentum and jumpstarts, creativity. That's what that does. And that's why, you'll have Eminem who will fucking rap his raps while he's fucking running. That's some inspiration for the fucking treadmill right there, in which I have also ignored. And man, I made myself to just be a mean bastard. And, I got first world problems. Other people shit are really on blast. I'm just a motherfucker with a mic. You know what I'm saying? Missing his brother. Missing really connection with the outside world. I felt like I've kept myself caged in because I've become unhappy with what I am. And you can't do that. You can't stay doing that. Not for too long. A bear hibernates. It doesn't fucking, disappear. Not to say I'm a bear that I... and fruity in such ways, but hey. Now, what do you do when you just not want to deal with yourself? You binge. And I guess in this week's rendition of Binge News, fucking Johnny Depp, man. I never really figured out what the outcome was with all the allegations and shit that happened with Amber Heard, who, if you're not familiar, was for a brief moment his wife. She is a pretty bad little dirty white bitch. And she, what I believe, did him dirty, tried to get some money out the back, and started a ruckus saying that he was abusive, and she was able to catch one of his little crazy moments, which could either be evidence that he really is abusive, or more or less just that she caught him at a bad time and fucking tried to seek the opportunity to get it. Like, she, out of all the moments she could have recorded, she fucking did that shit, and it seemed very staged, and she purposely was kind of egging him on. And nor do I endorse fucking, domestic violence in that essence, but it just makes me wonder if this bitch was just your typical gold-digging bitch that just, happened to seek his fangs. And no matter how bad she looked in, either it was a Robert Rodriguez movie, not too sure it was Machete or one of those kind of flicks, but even in fucking Pineapple Express, a little 17-year-old that Seth Rogen was porking, and how dare he, but kudos, kind of bullshit. Anyways, he's a dirty bitch, and he is, and I'm not too sure what else he got going on. I think right now they're still filming even Pirates 3, so it's funny how the publicity will lead you into a certain situation. But even amongst all that, for some fucking reason, Johnny Depp and his production company want to investigate deeper into the murders of Biggie and Tupac. Normally I say Tupac and Biggie, so he doesn't sound right, Biggie and Tupac. Tupac's number one. Just let that be answered, first of all. But that just makes me wonder, because there's been countless documentaries, and why, as he's going through this current shit here, does he decide that as a project? So I don't know. It's almost ironic, him trying to say like, y'all should dig this shit up and y'all will see for yourselves. I'm a free man. Not the way that I would normally push it, but that's what's going on. And I'm interested in the fact that he's doing that, but should it matter where it's coming from? I mean, it's great that someone's putting the resources into investigating something that we, I don't know. If it's lost flame, can that still be relevant? Obviously, it's one of the biggest questions, but I mean, is this going to uncover some kind of conspiracy plot? Like, that'd be really dope if it did, then it'd be worth it. So that's interesting. It's a matter of gaining wind, maybe having people remember the name that's suddenly for sale for $125,000 is a bent bullet fragment that were made into gold pendants, and it was encrusted with diamonds, and y'all could look it up. It was actually reported by TMZ, but they're selling that shit. So it's that's just weird that we would have this stored away, and who would say it's the authentic thing, unless there's some sort of unless you get this death certificate along with it to kind of show its authenticity. And I don't know, man. The shit that's for sale, it's crazy, and so that we could put a price tag on me. Fuck, we can poison our waters and get fresh water and fucking sell it to you. So it's kind of they've already found an in, and there's a lot of things that we have to pay for that we're just getting taxed on. Like, we're literally getting pimped. It's and obviously, like, services, and I love to mention Netflix because it's masterminded, but it's giving you the service that you can maybe get around for free if you scout or if you do pirate sort of things, but it's giving you something of ease of use and shit that you can share. So even if you're gonna hit one every 4 to 6 people from a family, I mean, you at least got a hook to where who has Dave's password, that kind of thing. So you're creating a staple to where at least 1 in 10, as an example, a large example, will have it because, let's say, of ease of use of that nature. So either which way, you're going to get more people, and people maybe who forget about it. It's a thing that you're getting monthly charged on. Your information is already in there, and it's going to continue to charge that bitch until something changes. And even then, that was going to get you back. And when they get you back, by that time, the service might be a little bit more expensive. And, they've done their hikes just like any growing business would. Not knocking them for it, and I'm kind of getting too lost because there's just other services that they just get their teeth in, whether they be health insurance, to where you have to pay so much per check anyway to then need something, have to meet this ridiculous deductible that you can't afford because the fucking little bits of money that they take every month didn't do your goddamn thing, and even that was pinching you. So you end up not using anything at all. Now, in that same respect, so we could put a price, level of currency upon anything. And it was funny that there's this bitch in Seattle, and she has a tough story, but her house had burned down, and I guess they didn't have any sort of insurance, and you would hope that you never would need it. A lot of times you do it, and you can either get pimped or it can be in your nature. Now, when you're in a high-risk area for shit of that nature, you'd want to have that kind of protection, like if you're going to be fucking, man, you really don't want to have the repercussions of it, then it probably would have been a good idea to use that rubber. It would have been a good idea. And in that same regards, this young lady who's 20 and by no means, I wouldn't want to say beautiful, but, bad, because beauty's an eye beholder, and I haven't really got to meet her or get to know her shit, but she's apparently trying to sell her virginity, and she took up stock somewhere at one of the bunny ranches in Nevada, somewhere outside of Vegas. And it's funny that Vegas supposedly doesn't allow for prostitution, but there's a little town outside of it that does. And I guess they have kind of like a they call it the Bunny Ranch, and you probably heard of it. You can Google it, most definitely. And this girl, she met up with whoever the owner is, and he was going to give her the opportunity to live there rent-free for 5 years. And upon living there, she's going to get the highest bidder, and they're aiming for $1 million because they're going to split it 50-50 to then, to give her, her virginity to the highest bidder. Now, I've heard other stories of like that, people auctioning their virginity, but that's just a trip that, something like that could happen, and that we allow for it, or that it could be, somewhat, forgivable, because people have had a lot of, shitty first times. So wouldn't that be something to have your first time be worth $1 million? Like, even though you're going to get taxed half of it, which I'm not too sure if it even gets taxed even beyond that. So who knows the implications? But she signs a 5-year contract pretty much to live there. And I imagine that if you're living in a fucking residence that is prostitution, from room and board, is meant for fucking, maybe even sleeping. I think it wasn't Lamar Odom, fucking Courtney, Chloe's ex. He was stationed up there for a little bit, or I think that's where he had his heart attack, or some bullshit. And I imagine that she's going to be having to do something. She might keep her virginity to keep the pussy seal of authenticity, or hymen, or whatever it's called, hymen. And I wonder if she's fucking giving handjob, blowjob. Like, how can she be living there, rent free? She's providing a service, I'd imagine. And what the fuck's the rest of her family? Article doesn't really mention it, but you can Google that shit. And maybe, if I'm not lazy, it'll be in the link of this video if you follow it on YouTube. Man who never has paid pussy up front. I got swindled once, but never had I paid for it up front. And I couldn't imagine just being able to, you get what you pay for, or, everything has its price, right? That's what they say. And in the same similar fashion, in a really fucked up way, 50 had gotten into, he's been having very public spouts and fights with this fucking baby mama. And she, who I think is I don't know how many kids he has, but I know this was to his first boy. Damn near looks spitting image like him too. And they've had just a fucking fighting of, just hatred for one another, whether 50 Cent is feeling used, or, being upset because, he has a teen who's probably who's a snob, and who's a spoiled brat, and probably doesn't appreciate what he has. And that's all of us, right? And, one of the fucked up things, obviously, he was, providing, and I'm pretty sure the fucking child support this bitch got, she used it, for herself, and to live lavishly, and to, provide herself a lifestyle. They have a house, and it was, I don't know who owned it. I guess it was under 50's name, but he gave it to her, or something like that. I don't know exactly how those details go, but she had her house, and she wasn't maintaining it. I'm not too sure what she was doing with the child support, but she was definitely housing another motherfucker in the crib, and that's one of the biggest no-nos. Like, whenever you cheat or you fucking around, like, you're not supposed to have another motherfucker in the crib. Just how it is, it would be disrespectful for you to bring a bitch to the house. Like, it's just, that's the home, that's the sacred spot. Anyways, and they're broken up or what have you, and so you could say that she's able to do whatever the fuck she wants, but still, it just, I don't know. It's just they're all pretty much living off 50's donation, so to speak. So he's not gonna be too happy to know where his money's going to, when he knows where it is and how what it is. And he had gotten a public spout again, talking shit when apparently the boy's gonna be turning, I don't know if it's 21 soon. So instead of it backing him to he's 18, like they back him to his 21. I didn't know it was that old. But he just little countdowns on his social medias and shit, which is fucking ridiculous. But I guess he found out that she wasn't paying on the house, so the house was being taken away. So he was just out there just fucking memeing away. And fucking 50 Cent's one of the king of petties. I almost look up. I can't say it. Not that I look up to it, but it's just one of those things like, damn. Ain't that some shit? And you never want to be on the receiving end of that motherfucker. But that's the whole fine line and funny edge of what kids bring. And I couldn't imagine being in a situation where not only can you not be around what you've made at all times, but that you could just abandon it, or just fucking the unfortunate tear that can sometimes come from it. And it happens. And you can only be so lucky when you're just growing gray hairs, but it shows a lot in people, because sometimes you don't want to be around it. I mean, for those that don't have that flesh and blood investment, it can be quite a nuisance. It could be seen as a annoyance. It could be seen as such a burden when you have something that's so unproductive, but uncontributing, or just obviously something that's not just ignorant, but blameless. You can't fucking help that unless you're literally helping it, doing for it. And that there's a deeper love and connection when you finally come to that. And it's gonna be like a wedge and a dividing line a lot, like I said, because of company that's kept and not wanting to be associated with. Like it blurs, and it definitely segregates. And like I said, in friendships, that's gonna show itself. And in somewhat related news, there's just rumors of, I guess not rumors, because Kanye was doing his thing at a concert, and he was ranting as he normally does, but he had given mention of, a certain album not happening, or Watch the Stones 2 not happening because of some bullshit between Tidal and Apple, which doesn't make any sense, because the other connections he's making with this using the same damn thing. For example, his supposed collabo album with Drake, or even whatever, when you get featured and shit, it's whatever nonsense. And he really just hypes himself up so much in a way to where you kind of wouldn't want to be seen with him. You know what I'm saying? Just similar to, the unfortunate Azalea Banks shit at Russell Crowe's, and fucking embarrassing the fuck out of RZA, and you know what I'm saying, and who knows what could have happened in that state. And that's a whole nother topic in itself. You just, when you make such a fool of yourself, you really don't want to associate. And even though they had Jay-Z and seen like the big brother to Kanye, I mean, it's been known that Jay-Z didn't want to sign him. It was Dame Dash. Even though he stuck around with him, he did that because he wanted to prosper himself. It's all business decisions. And there's a reason why you probably don't see him at functions anyway. And think about back when Kanye had blown up on Taylor Swift and did the whole recognition to Beyonce. Like, he made a fool out of himself, and they don't try to draw attention to themselves in that aspect. I mean, shit, you can remember when fucking Solange, Beyonce said she was beating the fuck out of Jay-Z while they're, in an elevator, like, and they just try to come out cool as a fan outside of it because they keep the personal shit very personal. And anyways, Kanye had made a reference, I'm not too sure if Jay-Z had checked on him, over the Kim Kardashian thing, which was, out of respect, I guess, in its own, as a human being. And then Kanye, seeing that inch and wanting to mile at the motherfucker, said, well, why don't our kids hang out? Well, I mean, they don't want to be on camera. Like, they do pretty well to where when you do see them, it's in a fucking fashion magazine or something like that. You don't fucking see them trying to get milk, or something of that nature. So he does really good about, keeping that shit under wraps. And there's mumblings or rumors that he had made reference to not really wanting to be in amongst all that attention. And, that he simply did shit like Watch the Stones because he figured he'd make a lot out of the tour. And that's what happens when you make conglomerates. That's what happens when you make other entities that are worth a whole lot and can hopefully reach a whole different type of audience, so that you can then leech off of that when you want their demographic or when you want their people. You're adding to yourself. You're fucking grabbing on the plate, putting your arms all around it, fucking bringing it in. and that's what business is. With all the power that comes from these moves that these big businesses make, I mean, they also have influence. They have ways to manipulate and to kind of force trends so that it can be in their favor, you know, because then if it's in their favor, then they can, you know, they can gain off of it. And once again, that's just building and building. And one of the fucked up things that showed its influence was when Beyonce was at a concert, and I'm not so sure if she was trying to juke or jive or whatever, you know, those crazy dances black ladies do, and she had cut herself. So then there became this fucking thing that on social media that said hashtag cut for Beyonce. You had motherfuckers damn near mutilating themselves to do it in fucking honor of this fucking supposed queen, and people will fucking die and fucking cry and lie in the name of Beyonce. And no other sense than when you see shit like that can you say, oh my god, nigga, this is a fucking that false idol shit that fucking the Bible talked about, because here we are following and pretty much damn near saying, I mean, is it at the fucking pace to where motherfuckers are, you know, chanting some kind of demonic fucking thing and, you know, saying by the name, blah, 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 blah? No, but damn near, because they're fucking probably singing to the bitches' lyrics. And if that is not the most hypnotizing and fucking chanting and fucking brainwashing avenue that there is, then I don't know what. And here they are fucking cutting this house for the bitch. And I don't apologize for it. Guys, and I'm not quiet about my distaste for the fucking, you know what I'm saying, the Clinton thing. Now, as a fan I am of Bill, I can't stand being lied to the way his bitch is doing it. So, I mean, is that sexist? I don't fucking know. I mean, definitely there's a double standard in wanting one to prevail with the fucking over and whatnots, but you know, yeah, she's a lesser of the evil. She's gonna, like I said, keep the mainstay at bay, or at least where it is, and hopefully we can prosper some fucking how. But once again, it's just business as usual with them, and it sucks, like I said, because going with that influence, going with the markets that you want to fucking shop your agenda around, fucking Jay-Z is doing some kind of benefit concert for her. So I mean, you're definitely choosing your sides, and even as big as he is, I mean, the fact that he's such an idol for all people, you know, in artistry, I guess, but for sure in the black community, you're gonna sway that vote. You're gonna do another vote or die sort of shit. This is your fucking hip hop introduction to where to aim towards, you know. And it's funny how. I think, was it an Abraham fucking elephant? I want to say, I don't know how it got switched around to where this became the side, but I feel like this is where we're being manipulated into. I mean, they're each side is fucked for sure, but anyways, so he's doing his benefit concert, and Pusha T, also another stable in street culture, you know what I'm saying? The fucking, I forget the name of his cocaine fucking nicknames and shit, but you know what I'm saying? Pusha. This motherfucker is also like voicing and having ads fucking that's pro Hillary. So it's like, all right, well then you're definitely covering that demographic. As if you didn't have the single white females, now you got these niggas thinking that, you know, this is the route to go towards, and this is gonna, I mean, it's gonna help, and she was gonna inevitable for her to win anyway. And you know, one could say they want to be on the winning side, but I mean, come on now, they had to have. You get some kickback, you know what I'm saying, for providing your services, using your celebrity, your influence. And just when I saw that and I heard that, I'm thinking, okay, you know, you can't really fight for the indie to try to, you know, sliver the way in here. Not with this kind of thing. You'd have to have a fucking miracle. But then again, you know, the walls have to fall, and they have to get really tall before they can fall. So it's inevitable. You know, we gotta ride with it. Madonna went on record to say she'll blow you if you vote for Hillary. Now, see, you know, that's just me being more so upset because there's just grander, more powerful powers that be, you know, and things are gonna go where they need to. And you know, so our main focus is to once again be strong in our roots, and for the winds and the rains that pass through us, hopefully we can once again keep steady keep sturdy, not fall. And if we do, then get back up and try to stand tall again, and hopefully become stronger from that. And that's ultimately what comes down to it. And we, once again, kind of got to make the best with it and be able to adapt. And we want a hero, and that's where it's kind of up to us. Because even though we can do things probably in a far, far smaller scale, I mean, look what ants do. And if you ever had an ant farm, and shouts out to Alien Ant Farm, who's totally irrelevant from this, but definitely just look them up. They build, colonies, and they handle business, and they do what they need to survive. And the mission continues forward, and they expand and they become greater. And what you do once you become greater, I mean, shit, the sky is the limit. Hopefully, not even this, not sky, the fucking space, the universe. I mean, shit, we talked about space tourism last episode. It's, you gotta do what you can for the planet or for yourself, just for whatever the hell you're gonna colonize in. And I guess in almost funny respects, DiCaprio, man, who this motherfucker, and I love that when he finally got his Oscar, and he knew he was gonna get it because shit really wasn't had anything upon him. I love that his speech was about protecting the earth, and in a beautiful way, because not all of us, we're not. I mean, unless you're fucking rich, or God lucky. If they do end up turning this, this world's going to shit. But if you're going to be left on it while others, are prospering and expanding and fucking maybe one day reaching different universes, we're going to be stuck on this bitch. And it'd be a really good idea to try to protect it, or to kind of give attention to. And because if you can colonize, if you can build and stack, whatever you're stacking, whatever you're building, it's going to be far greater. So, anyways, I'm fucking blowing him now, but he gave a proper shout out, just how it's noble to fucking give glory to God. And we've seen this motherfucker struggle in the essence of it. So his message has to be broader, and it has to be in a way so it doesn't scare. Because as much as Jesus saves, this motherfucker scares a mass of motherfuckers. He just does. Because that's what happens when you see something fucking glorious. It's gonna be fucking scary. It's gonna upset you. Fuck, it might even anger you, because it goes against what you've known, what you've believed, and what you're fucking able to comprehend. And that's not always that fucking great. So, and again, I'm fucking getting lost. But DiCaprio, this motherfucker, hero in his own sense. He's gonna bring back Captain Planet. And if y'all weren't kids in the 90s, or just happen to fucking watch it, Captain Planet revolves around, I think, 5 kids, and they each possess a ring, and they all have their own backstories, of course, but each ring represents a different element, like fire, water, earth, hearts even in that bitch. And I can't wait to see that adapted. But anyways, when they come together, they create this fucking super being, and I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do it without fucking seeming ridiculous, because was it Don Cheeto or whatever the fuck is that nigga's name is, who can't think of any other movies to Crash, maybe. I know he played the one brother, the original brother in Iron Man. I can't remember. Or was it the newer version? No, that was Harvard Terrence. Whatever the fuck. That brother who, I think in Crash he fucked a Puerto Rican bitch, and he made a fucked up joke about fucking a Mexican. And saying that it would piss her off, my mom more off, if the bitch was white. So just whatever, all types of racist shit. But this guy played Captain Planet, and it's just so ridiculous. He did it for Funny or Die. So if y'all can look that up, do that shit. And no matter how funny and ridiculous we aim to make fun of things, there's a deeper meaning behind it. Just how, we can hide behind tragedy and fucking, just be all emo and all up in our feelings. There's something deeper behind it. Hopefully strong roots. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about music earlier, but fucking speaking of just when your roots need replenishment, and when you go and you try to seek fucking, not amnesty, but just, I'm saying, protection, and you try to better yourself, how dare the motherfuckers that try to kick you while you're down. And fucking Kid Cudi, dude, he had gone out there, and he, talked about just having suicidal thoughts and just, probably feeling like shit, as one does. And, he had support, which is good, and and it kind of opens up the avenue again for people speaking about mental health and how frowned upon it is to admit such things in the black community, and really in any fucking community that has to deal with a fucking man that needs to be strong and that can't fucking ever be weak or be tired because he has to fucking keep churning and keep burning until you fucking burn yourself out. Anyways, and I meant to mention this shit when the fucking Kanye's motherfucking whack ass. No, I mean, he's a genius, he's God. But when this bitch ass fucking talks about collabing with Drake, and then Drake going on the offensive, finally releasing something that was going at Cudi. And supposedly it might have been older shit, but I mean, come on, it was just released. It seems pretty topical. He's taking shots at Drake, pretty much calling him out, saying that he's all prosed out, and that he's been in a hiatus, fucking lost in himself, and this motherfucker never taking a day off, and all this bullshit. And yes, it's fucking good wordplay, but it's like, motherfucker, how can you do that? Why would you do that? Why are you finally responding back to these fucking tweets? And I will say, Cudi did go out and he talked shit. He called out him and Kanye about having these fucking ghostwriters, and and come on now, he was a ghostwriter for Kanye, at one point, and I'm talking about Cudi. So he knows, the shit about, kind of giving all yourself, pretty much being used up like a fucking lemon on some hot sauce and soup, saying some shit you fucking thrown off to the side, and you used all your best creativity maybe, or you can't really overshadow that, or maybe you're not getting called back, maybe you just kind of left off to the wayside, and whatever. But he talks shit, and finally Drake is responding to it, so that kind of almost inspires me to where I hope motherfuckers really smash him then, because he's willing to do this shit. Then you know what I'm saying, come on, bring it. But it makes me scared for my own damn self and my own karma thing. So, Lord forgive me. Where the world is going. We got fucking chimpanzees smoking pack a day in North Korea. That little Indonesian boy, he has to be 3 years old by now, smoking 2 packs a day. Fucking that whatever unknown drug substance thing that was out in Australia that supposedly was turning motherfuckers into zombies. I mean, shit, who knows? Just know that, in trying times, I mean, since our earliest indigenous of upbringings, we gave sacrifice, whether or not we knew that it was to this higher being that was going to protect us. We wanted to give something precious, something beautiful, something that's just, once again, you couldn't name a price. It's like the first fruits, the virgins, the goodness. That's when you really come together and you dedicate and you make your sacrifice. Oh, it's time for dedication. Sizzle. Alright, so in this dedication, it goes to Colleen Ballinger, or Ballinger. This baby is an American comedian, actress, singer, and YouTube personality. Now, she's really most best known for her character Miranga scenes, where she pretty much posts videos about characters on YouTube performing her one-woman comedy act, and she actually goes on tours, and fucking she sells out theaters worldwide about this shit. Anyways, she pretty much makes fun of comically talentless, egotistical, and even quirky and most of the shit. So I mean, a lot of it's just satire, but she just sings so terribly. I mean, it's hilarious is what it is, because she's eccentric, she's narcissistic, she has like purposely bad dance moves, and she's fucking hilarious. And at first, I wasn't too sure if she was just like this, because you figure when you see people on YouTube and you figure, okay, they have no idea what's going on. But no, she's in full control in what she's doing and what she's making fun of. And, although it can seem real polarizing, like that's part of her shtick. And, she even, it's gotten to the point, not only does she have millions of views and I don't know how many millions of followers on fucking IG and all the other social media shits, she has her own little Netflix series. So, and it's called Haters Back Off. And I haven't watched it. I really can't stomach seeing her do it for too long, but it's hilarious how it started like an insider joke. And she's actually like a voice lesson person. Like, she teaches people actually how to sing. I mean, you wouldn't know this because of fucking Selena Gomez is one of her pupils. So you fucking think, okay, well, she must be terrible. But I mean, she can make that bitch sing. This little cutesy thing that's just meant to look cutesy and tiny. The little fabric foint fraction. I don't know my mathicals are no, not mathicals. What am I trying to say? What was I trying to say? What was I trying to say? Something with the A? Arithmetic. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Anyways, she does that in such a dope ass way that I just feel like, man, like, out of all those people who, lie and pretend to be someone, it's funny how she pretends to be the meek. And she's very beautiful and just very talented. And I know she went through a recent divorce, and it was all fucking vlogged. So, I mean, to have your life put on blast like that, it's just a motherfucker. And, I mean, she definitely deserves all that she gets. I mean, she fucking started from being a little entertainer at Disney. Like, the bitch literally got fired because, when she does her little stick, it's kind of off-putting. So I don't know if they thought she had fucking bits and bursts of schizophrenic fucking retardation or how the hell that happened, but she was just genius and she was making it work for her. And she's really showing people that, even though she makes fun of it about being prettier and being all this and being all that, like, she does it so that you can laugh and understand that, it's really all behind the person who believes in it. It goes to show how deep belief can be, because honestly, when you're truly narcissistic and you're like a habitual liar and you just believe the shit that you're saying, even though it's a damn line, like, you're really off the rocker, you're really off the deep end. And that's her commentary on the subject. And I think that's just fucking genius, because I feel like I do that. Sometimes I get too lost into this character that you create and that have established because you feel like it's right, or you kind of feel like you hate that person so much so you have to be it. That's what she does, and definitely dedications to her. Miss Miranda Sings and her smeared ass cocksucking makeup that looks damn near clownish and bad posture that you just can't help but fall in love with. How dare you? You dumb motherfucker. And God bless you. God bless you so much for sticking around, for listening, for being a part of it. I'm hoping y'all can reach out. If you wanted to either say what's up, you can reach me at SoulPapo on any social media. Again, that's SoulPapo. If you want to become a producer of the show, you can go to patreon.com/SoulPapo, or keep not doing the goddamn thing, because I'm going to still talk at you next time. So, love.
Who is your hero?
I am my hero. Also, my uncle is my hero. Also, myself.
The end.